This is LBC.
With Vauxhall, energising a better Britain.
12:53, and it's Simon Mark's time. Let's crack on quickly with this, and we begin with an update on what you told us yesterday about Thomas Massie, the Republican who hadn't done much to upset Trump, but he had been instrumental in the release of what has been released of the Epstein files, and that was enough to get Trump to endorse his rival.
Yes, that and the fact that he'd been very critical of the war on Iran, James. But by the time the war on Iran began, Thomas Massie's goose with Donald Trump was cooked. It was a big night for the White House last night. There is absolutely no question about that, because he not only managed to get Thomas Massie, this persistent thorn in Donald Trump's side, from Kentucky, deselected to all intents and purposes as the Republicans' candidate in the House of Representatives there. Thomas Massie went down to a crushing defeat in the Republican Party's primary. He lost by 10 points, a landslide for the Trump-backed former Navy SEAL Ed Galrain, who now becomes the party's candidate in that House of Representatives district in November's midterm elections. This was just one of several demonstrations last night of the astonishing power and influence that Donald Trump still has over the MAGA grassroots voting bloc. He issues commands, they respond. Brad Raffensperger, the iconic figure who defended election integrity when he was Secretary of State in Georgia. You'll remember that infamous phone call when Donald Trump said to him, "I just need you to find me 11,780 additional votes." Brad Raffensperger was seeking to become the governor of Georgia. He came third last night behind two pro-Trump candidates who will now go into a runoff. All of this coming after Saturday's defenestration of Senator Bill Cassidy in Louisiana, who had voted back in 2021 to impeach President Trump for incitement to insurrection. He was taken down as a result of being targeted by the president. He becomes the first sitting member of the U.S. Senate to be deselected by local Republicans or Democrats on either side of the aisle since 2012. And Trump is not over yet. Yesterday, he endorsed Ken Paxton, the disgraced, clownish, scandal-laden former Attorney General of Texas, to become the next governor of Texas, to become the next senator from Texas, over the candidacy of the incumbent Senator John Cornyn, which, on the strength of what we've seen so far, dooms John Cornyn's chances of remaining in the Senate. And it may be an act that delivers ultimately in November that Senate seat in Texas into the hands of Democrats. But for Donald Trump, it's all about the purge now. He is getting rid of anybody who has given him gyp in the Senate, in the House of Representatives, in the party more broadly, in a bid to consolidate his power base ahead of November's midterms.
And speaking of that, the developments regarding his so-called ballroom, I mean, I don't think it is veering into conspiracy theory territory to say it sounds like he might be preparing facilities from which he would never emerge.
Yeah, or from which any president might never emerge. I mean, it was staggering yesterday. President Trump took members of the White House press corps on a tour of the building site for the project that we must all now stop calling the ballroom, because in Donald Trump's telling, the ballroom is simply a shield for everything underneath it. That's what he said yesterday. And everything underneath it is a 6-story underground fortress, a military complex. It's going to, he suddenly announced yesterday, contain a military hospital, some kind of scientific research centre. What kind of science they're going to be investigating down there, who knows? It's going to contain secret and secure rooms for military commanders and others to hold meetings. It's going to be equipped with anti-drone and anti-sniper technology and munitions. Above ground, ground. There's going to be a viewing area where the Secret Service and members of the military will have a 360 degree sweep of the whole area in the centre of Washington, D.C. The entire city will be laid out before them. Whether we're talking about President Trump or any other president, if you wanted to build a fortress from which it is going to be extremely difficult, potentially, to dislodge an occupant, if you wanted to build an impenetrable military facility in the White House grounds, equipped, of course, with this new helipad that he's putting in on the south lawn of the White House, these are exactly the plans you would be implementing. And all of this talk about how he's doing it all with his own money and the money from donors, that's only the ballroom, literally the ballroom where the Bridgerton-style dances are going to take place. All the stuff underneath, he's going to want Congress to pay for, and they are building it at a rapid clip. That became evident yesterday from that press availability.
Was there any mention of a bald head and a fluffy white cat?
I mean, that we were one step away from that. It is really important to underscore, and the American media, I have to say, has missed this over the last 24 hours. If you were a James Bond villain, this is literally the kind of facility you would be building to try and see off the forces of Mr. Bond and His Majesty's government.
Indeedy. I mean, I thought originally of Thunderbirds, but they were the good guys. Simon, we're out of time. Thank you, as ever. And he's quite right, you know. A lot of the US media has failed to pick up on the possible implications of what he just described, but not our Simon.